I love the new 6th Gen 4Runner. I've had mine for a little over 2 weeks, and I've got some time behind the wheel where I've started to find some of the little things that could be improved upon. One of them is the inability to not charge electronic devices in the center console. We have two great 45-watt USB-C connections in the upper console as well as my wireless charging.
But sometimes I just want to charge some additional equipment. How I can do that is by using a female-to-female threaded cable adapter. This one is actually rated for up to 60 watts. And when paired with an additional wiring, specifically this kind of wire that allows for a very flush, flat connection, we can go ahead and ensure that this looks really clean when finalized and installed behind the paneling.
Go ahead and open the center console. I have an upgraded tray. I'll leave a link in the description for you if you'd like. And you're going to go ahead and remove out the inside carpet. This will expose the 4 10mm bolts that we're going to need to remove. At this point, I recommend removing the shifter boot by pulling it down. And then it's hard to see, but there is a small clip just underneath, which will pull it out and out of the way. Now with the shifter out of the way, we can remove this center section. I would prefer to use panel wedges to be able to get underneath some of this plastic. Simply slide underneath and give a slight rotate and lift. Once that's free, we can go ahead and lift it out of the way. I'm just going to rotate it for the time being to give us clearance. You'll see 2 additional screws here. These are simply 10mm. Very little torque is applied to them. We'll get those out of the way.
Now, if you haven't already done so, you can move your seat back. This will give you good access to the handle's bolt cover, and you can open it up with a panel wedge. From here, you can go ahead and remove the bolt. Once that's done, you can pull back your handle.
Now with the handle pulled back, we can work on the cup holder. Once that's removed, we can then work on the 4 plastic clips that are inside of the center console. Be careful not to break any of them. There are 3 connections in the center console: the sensor, USB, and the 120 volt plug. I prefer to use a set of plug pliers to be able to make it a little bit easier. Once those are free, the console can come out. Toyota did make this really easy. To give us more access to the back of that console, we can go ahead and remove the cover. And flipping it upside down, we can go ahead and remove the ductwork. We now have unobstructed access that we can drill our hole for our port. One of the things I need to make in consideration is the ducting work. The way in which it's routed, the USB port would actually hit against it, so we're going to have to off-center it. My goal is onto the driver's side, pretty far over, to ensure that it doesn't have any kind of consequences. I'm going to go ahead and use a step bit. It gives me the best control for these kind of holes. Now, a simple test fit. Looks pretty good.
Here you can see that I've got the wire run. Being as though it's a very flat wire, it sits really well behind the paneling and very nice and clean. It's then run below and behind all of the additional paneling in the center console. Now we'll go ahead and connect all the rest of the wiring. For the USB cable, just go ahead and plug it in. We can lower down the console. One thing to keep in mind when you're reassembling this is the air duct. The plastic is very thin and can be prone to damage, so just be careful when you're reassembling everything. Once you've got all the clips reinserted and all the panels are in nice alignment, we can go ahead and sink down the majority of the bolts. I'll start with the console box first. And then the lower one. Once those bolts are done, we can assemble the cup holder. Pull back on that handle a little bit and let it slide into place. Now, we'll do the lower handle bolts and then finish off with the two upper ones before putting down the center console piece. Ensure that you're not putting too much torque on these upper ones. It's simply just threaded screws. USB charging in the center console now allows more opportunities. Charging GoPro batteries, cell phone packs, anything else you just want to get out of the way. I'm really pleased how this came out and I highly recommend it. Thanks again for watching us, and catch out more on Kona Garage.